thing I'm going to talk about is probably the biggest thing that has culminated in my weight loss. For those of you that don't know, basically I went off to university. I played American football for a while, and because of that sport and that level of activity, I didn't really consider myself to be particularly unfit. I was well overweight. Because of my level of activity, I didn't really log it as a problem. And then, unfortunately, I tore my ACL ligament, which meant my American football training ended, and I packed on the pounds. I seriously put in some hours. Kebabs, booze, and just generally university lifestyle meant that I ballooned up to about 23 stone, which there are heavier people out there, but for my frame, that was bad. It got to the point where I was walking up a single flight of stairs and I was out of breath and sweating at the top, and it's times like that where you sit and think, yeah, actually, I need to do something about this. And I did. And I'll tell you now, the first few years from when I decided I wanted to do something to actually being successful at doing something, it took a lot of trial and error. And as I said in my intro video, that's something I want to try and help people with. I want to try and get it so people know a bit more about their options and maybe can make the right choice to suit their lifestyle, rather than trying to fumble around with some of the things that I've had problems with. But I'm going to talk about a lot of the things I've mentioned there in a lot more detail at a later point. But the biggest thing I found, and that I think will be universal to any diet, I say diet, I don't like that term, to be honest, any lifestyle you choose to have, because it really is got to be a lifestyle. If you go on a diet, for me, I consider that you'll probably lapse and then you'll slide back into old habits. Whereas if you can find something that you can actually do and do consistently, that's when you're going to have some real success. But my success, because personally I went from being like 23 stone at university, I dropped down to now I'm about 16 stone 1, something along that lines. And don't get me wrong, I know that's still heavy and I'm working on it still, but it's a hell of a lot better than where I started. But for me, the biggest thing I realised was the percentages. And I tried many different ways of losing weight. I tried like meal replacement kind of diets where I had a milkshake and just a milkshake, and then like one healthy meal for tea and things like that. And I also tried other things where I go to the gym for like 3 hours every other day and I'd absolutely kill myself in the gym. And yet they still didn't work. And that's because it really isn't one thing that can make you healthy, in my opinion. You've got to have a lifestyle that fits. You've got to have these percentages I keep saying about. And the percentages for me is 20% in the gym or activity. You've got to be active. You've got to do something. Because no matter how, I'm not saying like, oh, you have to go running or anything like that. I'm saying just anything, even if it's as small as going for a walk. I mean, personally, one of my big pushes was DDP yoga, which is something, again, I'll talk about down the line. But in addition to the gym and activities, then 30% the actual will to to actually stick at it. Because if you haven't got your own urge to actually keep at it and to keep fighting, especially when someone asks you to go out for a party or whatever, straight after another party you've been on just recently, which will follow on to another party just recently, you have to find some kind of willpower and restraint that, even when you have a bad run, keeps you on the straight and narrow, or at the very least gets you back onto it. A guy I was speaking to not long ago said something, and it really resounded with me in that respect. And it is, failure is not fucking up, it's giving up. And that's really true. And to have that willpower not to give up on something, even when you've screwed it up, and to go back to it and get back on the horse, is something you've got to really cling on to. And the remainder, it really has got to be 50% in the kitchen. Because if you don't get your diet right, if you don't eat right, no matter how much you kill yourself in the gym, it's not gonna give you the results you want. And I'm not talking about suddenly cutting out all your carbs or suddenly doing anything else. I mean, don't get me wrong, if those diets work for you, they work for you. I'm not the guy that's going to tell you what to do, but you need to find something that you can stick to that will fix your diet down. Because if you're consistently taking on more food than your body needs, you're going to gain weight, or you're going to maintain at a heavy weight. It really is about those percentages. I think if you can hold those down, you can tie those down, and you can stick to that, you're going to lose weight and you're going to achieve some goals. Well, this is my first proper video, vlog, whatever you want to call it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you liked it, hit the subscribe button. And if you think it's been useful for you, what I've said, or if you think it might be useful for someone you know, and I'm not saying, link this on a Fat Guy's page, because that's just bad. I'm saying, if you think this is useful at all to anyone, just give it a share. Anyway, thanks for listening, and remember, be your own island.